Yeah, I don't think so. Clerk, call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Devin Allen, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3. J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4. Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be delivered by Dr. Bob Mullen, Executive Minister for Legacy Church of Christ in North Russian Hills. Thank you very much for coming out today. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. Let us pray. God, thank you for this day that you have provided. Thank you for the work that our judge and commissioners do in this court, deliberating the business that affects the county that we live in, that we love and care about, that's growing, that's prospering in so many ways. Thank you for the work of many staff members who've compiled a lot of data, a lot of information to allow them to make the deliberations that they do effective. And especially today, we want to thank you on a day in which employees of the county are being recognized and appreciated for the hard work that they do each and every day to bring about the things that we would hope within this place. I pray this in the name of the Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you, Doctor. Mr. Manius?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a reminder to the court that I believe it begins at 11:30 today, Ms. Clem. 11 o'clock outside, and I think our program is going to start about 12 o'clock in the front, on the front lawn. And I believe, Judge, you may have a comment about the memorial.
Right, we've postponed the memorial groundbreaking today at 2. Commissioner Johnson was not feeling well, wasn't able to make it today, and he has been such an instrumental part of that over the years. That and the weather, we felt like, okay, let's postpone that. We're going to postpone it to the 20th of this month, May the 20th at 2 p.m., same location. If it rains on that day, because it's been raining a lot, we don't want to complain about the rain in Texas.
Never.
If it rains on the 20th, we'll have it on the 21st. If it rains on the 21st, we'll come up with another backup plan. So again, we want to do that. We want to do it in May because that's police or first responders appreciation month, and so we want to do it then. But we also want to make sure that Commissioner Johnson can be here and be a part of that. Anything else, Mr. Manius?
Not at this time.
Okay. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of April the 30th.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have a couple of things to do today. The first is our recognition of Tarrant County and the United Way campaign that we had this past fall. Susan, you want to come forward and talk a little bit about that? And I also want to recognize T.D. Smyers and Lee King, who are here today with United Way. And y'all can stand up. And we'll call on them a little bit later on to talk about how badly we beat Fort Worth again for the all but first year when I had to pedal down Main Street and that.
Never again, right? Never again. No.
Never again.
No.
Take it away.
Thank you. Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you so much for letting me come before the court and talk about our United Way campaign this year. It really is a great day to be an employee here at Tarrant County. As Mr. Manius mentioned, we are having Employee Appreciation Day on the lawn. We have employee recognition and 504C, and we are finally getting around to recognizing our United Way departmental winners for the 2018 campaign. So this year we had a theme, and our theme was Live United. And the way that we focused on this theme is that we wanted to talk about the impact that our campaign actually has on Tarrant County. Where do your dollars go? What are they really doing in Tarrant County? So what we did is we had story posters that were displayed throughout all the different buildings in Tarrant County. And these are actual stories of real people in Tarrant County who were impacted by United Way dollars. The great thing is that it really showed us that when you gave to the campaign, that it was making a difference, that it was going to women, to children, to senior citizens, to veterans, that they were overcoming poverty, that we were breaking educational barriers, and people were living a healthier life. And the great thing about these stories is they weren't focusing on handouts. They were focusing on a hand up. So I hope this year that when these were in and out of the different buildings, you guys took the time to read the stories. We still have them, and if you're interested in them, I would love to share them with the county because they were very profound. And I know I had several comments that people were appreciative of it because it really did help them know that when they signed that pledge card, or when they bought a tamale, or when they partook of the pancake supper or a hamburger, that they knew that those dollars were impacting our citizens. So, but the big deal is now that this is all said and done, how did we live united? What's the big number for the year for 2018? So, for our campaign, our total dollars raised, it was $79,467.95. And that breaks down to $19.24 per capita for over 4,000 employees that we have here. So good job. Good job to everyone who participated. We really had some very strong campaigns this year. It was very exciting. But we do have 3 categories that we honor every year, and we provide a plaque, and Tarrant County's Credit Union provides a gift card for the top 3 winners in the 3 categories that we're about to honor. And I'm going to ask Ange if she can come up and help me be a Vanna for me. So she's gonna, I know, we had this discussion yesterday. She was like, please don't. No. So, okay. Well, here we go. This is what we're gonna, these are the 3 categories and our top winners in each of those categories. Maybe, if I can press the button right. There it is. Okay, our first category this year is increase over last year, and we're going to go with 3rd place first, and we would like to welcome the Resource Connection. This is, I think, the first time that you have won, right, Jamie? Congratulations. They did 118% over last year. That's pretty impressive. And we are going to get Lisa Willis with the County Clerk's Office to take pictures for us today.
Trying to make my people who were really so helpful and they can get up here.
Does that mean we're not going to have 3 flashes? She didn't hear that.
Just 2.
Just 2?
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
She's a professional. I'm still an amateur, so I got a couple more years.
She is a professional.
She is. She's very good. No. Our 2nd place winner and increase over last year is the Domestic Relations Office at 124%.
Y'all come on down.
And I think this is a big deal. I don't know that this office has ever won before. So in our first place and our increase over last year is Budget and Risk Management at 1,280%.
Michelle did the work.
Don't go too far. I think y'all are coming back up in just a minute too. So, okay, our next category is total dollars raised. This is for the entire campaign for your department. So in 3rd place, housing raised $4,600. In second place this year for total dollars raised is Public Health, and they raised $5,603.
So we don't all have to get behind.
And in first place with a very impressive campaign is the County Auditor's Office, and they raised $10,205.90. They had an incredible silent auction. There were amazing items in that auction.
Come on up. She's trying to get by Lynn, and Lynn just is kind of like maximum security, just kept moving over and getting in the way.
Yes, this is part of the deal.
Okay, it's part of
Raise the most and help you.
$10,000.
We're helping you stay off of the bike.
That's right.
It is a very talented group down there that they do know how to throw a party and they do know how to raise money. They also know how to keep books down there. So it's a very talented group.
Well, y'all should just come on back because I'm about to do per capita giving. So come on down, Kelly. Our third place winner for per capita giving with this fabulous campaign is the County Auditor's Office, and their per capita amount is $175.96. In second place, Housing Come On Back, you guys had a per capita giving amount of $191.67. And our big winner for the per capita giving in our departments goes to Budget and Risk Management again. Yay! At $287.50. There you go. I do have two special awards that are not up on the PowerPoint. With having a theme of Live United this year, we had two departments that really did some special things that were out of the box. And encouraging our departments during this United Way campaign is to think big. To think more than just the pledge card, to think more than just what you typically do. And I would like to take the time to honor, I have two awards, and I'd like to honor those two groups. The first one, I'm going to call it the most creative campaign. And this particular department did 11 fundraisers throughout the year. They didn't just do one, they did 11, and they did different things. They had a door decorating contest, they had a pumpkin decorating contest, they had a talent show, and they raised $800 in a talent show. I mean, that is creative thinking. That is taking it for the team and going the long way. So I would like to welcome Juvenile Services up here to receive the most creative campaign.
So on the talent show, I want to know, did you get to pay if you didn't have to have a talent? Or did you?
I have to confess, I was the campaign for this time, and several of our members from the last year's committee, the funds carried over from the talent show, but it was very interesting, let me tell you. Our pumpkin decorating contest was a hit, though. Let me tell you, it went off very well.
And just so you know, they raised $3,600 and, hold on, I gotta put my glasses on, sorry, thank you, $88.87 through those 11 campaigns. So that is very impressive, The second award, I'm going to call it the Collaborative Spirit Award. And these are 3 departments who independently, they do very well on their campaigns, but they never seem to make it up here on this list in first, second, or third. But collectively, they give one day that they pull all of their resources together for United Way. The departments, we kind of cross over and help each other out during this particular event, where you might see people in HR working chili and people in purchasing working a bake sale, and then everybody coming over and selling an ornament for budget and risk management. So today, I'm going to honor Third Floor Against the World and give them the Collaborative Spirit Award. To invite Tina and Jack and Helen up to receive this Collaborative Spirit Award. For the bake sale and the chili cook-off. There you go, sir. Thank you. And I'm out of this picture.
Y'all got to look up every once in a while and smile.
Better than beating LSU in football, thank you.
Well, that's happened so rarely, I can understand why you
Well, here it is. This is a big one. We ready? Okay, I'm going to hit the down button.
We do need to remind the commissioners that the one with the lowest per capita is the one that takes the rest of us to lunch.
Oops.
It's that gift that just keeps on giving.
This is my 3rd year for doing this.
Well, it's the truth.
I need to see that in the record somewhere.
Never trust a CPA. You'll never win against him.
Okay, I'm going to press this button, and I say this every year. I'm just a messenger, okay? I'm just a messenger. There it is. There are our Commissioner Court Awards for 2018. So this year, in 5th place, is Precinct 2 Commissioner Allen, and I'm just going to say you inherited a campaign. But you know how competitive they are, so I feel for you. Whatever I can do to help you out next year, I'm there for you.
There you go. Oh, thanks.
Our 3rd and 4th place are very, very close this year. So in 4th place, we have Commissioner Brooks in Precinct 1 with $4,468 and a per capita of $744.68. But the best pancake breakfast, I'm serious. I eat some pancakes on that one.
Thank you.
In 3rd place, with actually the best catfish I've ever had too, is Commissioner Johnson in Precinct 4 with $4,995 and a per capita of $832. So, second place goes to Commissioner Fickus in Precinct 3 with $7,843.64. He kicks off this summer with a great luau. I know that's coming up. So, and he has a per capita of $1,307.24. And then our first place winner is none other than Judge Glenn Whitley at $10,889 and a per capita of $1,814.83.
Congratulations, Judge.
Thank you. Well, you know, if I'm, as much as I beat on everybody about this, I feel like, you know, it is a great cause, and I hope it's something that everybody will get invested in from time to time. And you know, each year, I know you have not had a chance to participate, but we will let you buy us lunch.
Thanks.
And it is a great cause, and I want to tell everybody how I appreciate it. And I think over the years, just as Susan has mentioned, people have found new ways to raise the money and have fun while they're doing it. Mm-hmm. And that's so typical of everybody in Tarrant County. We're going to help everybody out, but we're going to enjoy and have a good time doing it. And that's what I really appreciate. And we'll find other ways. You know, maybe we'll do a floor competition in the administration building and see what we can do in the future. You know, I'll challenge y'all, and we'll, you know, shoot, I might just, you know, go against a couple of floors. Just, you know.
Oh, wait a second. That means that your office and the auditor's office are together. We might have to rethink that.
Yeah. You know, our floor may take over the rest of the building. We'll take on the rest of the building.
But apparently they're not going to have a talent show.
Oh.
No, we're not having.
There is no talent. There is no talent.
No
Well,
talent.
there ain't gonna be no talent in part of the fifth floor.
That's funny. I do have baseball game. I do have one quick thing before I end my part, because every year I do have to kind of give you a little something, kind of representing the employees here at Tarrant County. This is the third year that I've participated in our United Way Awards, and this is the third year I've done Employee Appreciation Day, and both seem to fall on the same day, and it's always tons of fun. But I think it's great, and the reason is because today we get to celebrate the dedication that our employees have to the work that we do for the citizens of Tarrant County, and right now we get to celebrate the philanthropic passions that our employees have for the citizens of Tarrant County. Our theme today at Employee Appreciation Day is Tarrant County Employees Rock. Well, we do rock, but we rock because we have rock star leadership up here in the Commissioner's Court. And I have something for you guys. This is for y'all when you come downstairs. You've got some Rockstar sunglasses, and then inside you've got a little pin, and if you kind of twist it, it'll light up for you right there. So just something to say thank you so much for supporting us and supporting the causes that we do, whether it's United Way, the Food Bank, Salvation Army, partnering with Oakhurst. We can't do it without your leadership. We can't do it without your support, and we just appreciate it very much. So look forward to coming back next year and announcing these awards and having a hot dog with you guys just a little later. Thank you.
TD. TD is the executive director of United Way, and Leah is his right-hand person, and we appreciate very much y'all being here today.
Oh, we wouldn't miss it, Judge. I mean, this is
TD has announced that he's a short-timer.
well, not that short, Commissioner. I mean, I still got a year to go, but at the end of this year, I will be retiring and moving on with my wife into real retired life. I hope to get it right this time. This is my second shot at retirement, so but it's leaving behind an incredibly strong team at your United Way. This is your United Way. This is your United Way, and resident in this United Way is a dedicated team of professionals. Chief among them is my friend and colleague Leah King, who represents the future of our effort and our organization. The leadership that you have shown, the leadership of great board members like Shannon Fletcher, who is here with us today, that's what is the Communities United Way. We're the fiscal agent of all this great levity. We get to celebrate people that participate in talent shows and cook chili and make hot dogs and contribute of themselves to make Tarrant County a stronger, more resilient place. We call it public philanthropy. Every man, every woman kicking in a little bit to make it a better place, and it works here because we have great leadership that brings us forward. Commissioner Allen, I'm glad to see you up there. I know you're going to give him a run for the money.
Totally.
Just give you, I can feel it coming.
I'm just a little competitive.
and we appreciate your support. But thank you, Judge, and thank you for having us here today. And thank you for everybody in this room and everybody who participated. I'm going to let my colleague Leah finish this up.
So I'll start with a thank you as well. There's so many kind and generous people here, and it was great to hear the theme of Live United and really bringing forth some of those true life stories that happen within our community on a day-to-day basis. It's not easy out there for everybody. People are working really hard, but they're just having a difficult time getting ahead. And the work and the contributions that you guys make has a real return on investment. And I'll give you one small example. We have a program that's called VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. It's a tremendous program that prepares thousands and thousands, in fact, this year, 9,000 tax returns for our citizens just in Tarrant County. Those efforts alone bring back nearly $20 million a year from DC back to our residents in our economy where it belongs. And so it's just one small example of the investment that you make and what it means to our community as a whole. That program should be growing exponentially. We're not number one in Texas, and we should be, and so we'll be talking to you guys about how we can become number one and bring all the money back from DC that belongs in our local community. So we thank you for your leadership. We thank you for your support and for your confidence in us, and we look forward to continuing to work with you.
Well, in all seriousness, I want to thank the Precinct 2 employees and all Tarrant County employees for participating with the United Way campaign. I could not be a bigger fan of the work that United Way does. I've seen their work be consistent in what it means to residents of Tarrant County in the 12 plus years that I've been around. And I appreciate you all inviting me to serve as a keynote speaker to your report to the community a few weeks ago, and really appreciate the work that you're doing to drill down and address root causes of poverty and not just to kind of skim over the top. So as a person who worked hard to change my family and to break the cycle of poverty, it could not mean, the work that you all do could not mean more to me. Thank you.
And I will announce that we did again this year beat the city of Fort Worth. They've become such an easy opponent that I'm going to see if I can't branch out and say again. Come on.
You beat the city by a factor of 2. I just had to throw it out.
Yeah, I didn't want to embarrass the mayor quite, but I will remind her of that a couple of times. But I am going to try to expand this to other cities and see if we can't get this going kind of throughout the county with all of the cities this next year, and see if we can't grow this campaign even more. So again, thank everyone for your contribution. It won't be long before we'll be starting up the campaign again. We'll let you take the summer off, and then we'll get started again in the fall. I would move that we receive and file the recognition for our United Way campaign.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next, we have a certificate of appreciation for Judge Alexander Kim. Judge Kim served, prior to him taking the bench, served on our Civil Service, Sheriff's Civil Service Commission. And so we want to tell him how much we appreciate that. He served from March 2017 through January 2019 when he went onto the bench. And so I will move approval of this certificate of appreciation.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Judge Kim, if you'll join me down here, then.
Judge Kim, might I say, you are rocking that bow tie.
We got to get at least 2. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Now, it is that favorite time of the month, but before we get into the employee appreciation, as many of you may or may not know, Texas is it's the largest state. If the snow ever melts in Alaska, we'll still be the biggest one. But it may technically be the largest geographical, But when it comes to counties, we've got the largest number of counties of any state in the country. We have 254 counties. And so yesterday, a couple walked into my office and they said, well, we've made it our goal to go around and to visit each of the counties, and you are the 252nd county that we have visited. We have 2 left, Parker and Childress, and so I signed their book. We took a picture, but I asked them to come back today so that we could recognize them in court. And Jean and Claudia Clements back in the back, would y'all please stand? So they've traveled all about the state and have visited each one of, well, now 253. And he said, I've been to Childress. I grew up in Childress County, so it's not, it's not like that's going to be my first time there. But they're going to be going there, I think, Friday.
Yes, sir.
And so that will mark the completion. I think it's been, you said it's been about 18 months in the journey. And I'm just telling you, folks, I asked him, I said, you've been to Loving County. Loving's got about 80-something people in it. And he said, yeah, he's been there. Or they've been there, and so I thought that was a pretty good feat. I had when I was with the CPA firm, I had one of my partner's wives took their children around, and they visited. I think they finally got to all 254 and took pictures of the courthouses and different things along that type lines. But it's a big state, and Jean and Claudio. Thank you for taking the time to do that. Thank you for the time of coming to Tarrant County. We're fixing to recognize several of our employees, and then after that, they're going to go back and get their pictures taken back in 504C. But before y'all leave, if you can stick around, maybe after we get through with this, you could come up and we could get a picture with the commissioners and y'all, and that'd be something that you could have for your scrapbook. Okay, thank you all again very much.
Let me just ask you, what's your next project?
Well, they've got one. They've got one.
We have 2 really left. I had a bucket list when I retired, and it was about to get completed. We spend our summers in Colorado, and last summer I told Claudia, my wife, I said, we're running out, the bucket list is getting complete, so we have to do something different. So I decided we'd go visit all 50 state capitals. We start that in July. That'll be about a 2.5-year project. We've divided all 50 states into 3 areas to knock them all out.
I'd start off in Hawaii. Claudia's ready for that one. She's.
I'll make the other 49. And then after that, one last thing we will do, and then I'll add other things to it as we go. Last January, when we were in Brownsville doing the Lower Valley, in the counties down there, and that I saw Highway 83. It started at the bridge there at Mexico and United States and Texas. And I said, Highway 83, that goes through Childress. I was raised there, been on that highway all the time. Well, I got to look at the map. It goes from Brownsville to Canada, mainly just through Middle America, no interstates. So we're going to go drive Highway 83.
Well, good luck to you both.
And just after that, you might consider Route 66. Because I had some friends do that a couple of years ago, and they thought that was pretty neat. Well, again, thank y'all. Thank y'all for making time to come back today. And again, after our employee recognition, we'll see if we can't get y'all up here for a picture. Employee recognition, it is my favorite time of the month. I think it's my favorite time because, one, everybody makes fun of me in the way I pronounce some of the names. And so as we get started, especially for you 5-year people, I say this frequently, right as Mr. Manius always gets up and leaves right about this point in time.
Get that telephone for you.
In case it rings, be sure and answer it. For you 5-year people, we're going to call your name. You're going to stand up. You're going to remain standing all the way through the process until we get to the tenure, and then I'll say at the end, 5 years, y'all can sit down. If it sounds like your name, you know where you are in the alphabet. So stand up. And you can laugh, and then I'll ask you to actually tell me how to pronounce it. My two biggest critics are missing today, but I feel certain after I've embarrassed Commissioner Allen on the United Way that she'll take up the slack if I...
No problem.
Count on me.
I figured that I could. So we're going to start off with the 5-year, and the first one, GK, she's not with the county administrator's office anymore. Candace is now with the budget office. So Thomas Brown, public health. Okay. No. We clap. You guys know this. We clap at the end because otherwise we'll be here till noon tomorrow. Tammy Bunch, domestic relations. Christopher Burns, facility management. Kizzy Burton, county clerk. Zachary Cox, sheriff's office. Peter Dawson, sheriff's office. Lindsay Devos, district court, 231st district court. Sommer Garza, sheriff's office. Mary Gillum, precinct 2 maintenance. Mary. Thomas Gutierrez, sheriff's office. Cody Harris, sheriff's office. Yvonne Hayes Jones, criminal district attorney's office. Rhea Holland, sheriff's office. Lori Leith, criminal district attorney's office. Lisa Letbetter, district clerk. Angela Marvel, county clerk. Annie Munez, public health. She had that grin on her face, so I'm not sure how I did on that one. Josu Reyes, and I know I missed that one. Sheriff's office. Okay, how was it? Go ahead.
It's Josue Rojas.
Yeah, that's what it was. Peggy Tate Velasquez, JP 7, close. Alex Tyson, pretrial services. Charlie Vickers, precinct 4 maintenance. Kurt Wheeler, sheriff's office. Here are our 5 years. Let's give them a hand. Did I miss somebody?
No, but you didn't say Candace's full name.
Boutte? Thank you, interim budget officer. Now for our 10-year employees. Judge John Chump, District Court, 141st District Court. Lucinda Krim, Sheriff's Office. Jason Jones, Sheriff's Office. Rupar Nielsen, Public Health. Did I come close?
That's good, yeah.
I always like, that's good. Robert Robeson, Sheriff's Office. Jorge Sanchez, Facilities Management.
Look at you.
Hey. Katie Travis, Sheriff's Office. These are our 10-year employees. Let's give them a round. For our 15-year employees, Talton Campbell, Sheriff's Office. Kimberly Davis, Sheriff's Office. Sherry Dembo, Domestic Relations Office. Danette Hamilton, Probate Court Number 1. Clement Lescale III, Sheriff's Office. Frank Minicon? He's laughing, so I'm just, juvenile service. Okay, where'd we go here? Minicon. Mary Avedo, Cooperative Extension. There she is. Deborah Pearson, Sheriff's Office. Charlie Smith, Precinct 3 Maintenance. Well, I like that one. Charlie, thank you for being, I'm I had to deal with that as commissioner. It comes with the territory. Tony Waters, Sheriff's Office. These are our 15-year employees. Next, for our 20-year employees, Christopher Bell, Juvenile Services. Joy Hall, Juvenile Services. Alicia Lancy, Juvenile Services. She didn't get the message. Well, I thought she was going to stand up right next to you there, but. Shannon McFarland, Sheriff's Office. Bobby Mills, Criminal District Attorney's Office. Bobby. Jay Singleton, County Administrator's Office. These are our 20-year employees. Now for our 25-year employees. First is Lieutenant Dennis Bowden from the Sheriff's Office. There's Lieutenant. Started out in the Sheriff's Office in the Correction Center as a jailer, was at Belknap as a corporal, then moved out to Green Bay, was in booking for a little bit, promoted to sergeant and was in support administration, then was promoted to lieutenant and went to the labor detail, back to Green Bay, and is now back at administrative support. When I asked him about a memorable moment, and I think this is something to be very proud of, he said, one day I went to a corporal promotion ceremony, and 8 of the 11 who were promoted had worked for him. So I think that speaks very much to your mentorship of the folks that you've had a chance to work with over the years. When I asked him what he liked most, he said the trust that they had in him, and it was displayed in a lot of the folks in that department. It was the opportunity to have a positive effect on other people's lives. He said, I have what I call Tarrant County Sales Day, and it's his Friday. Now, when the Sheriff's Department talks about Friday, it could be any day of the week, because what it means is the next 2 days they have off. And so a lot of times their Fridays may be Tuesday or it could be Thursday, but he says on my Friday I always promote and say what a great place it is to work in Tarrant County, and gives the reasons and talks about some of the things that he feels like makes Tarrant County such a great place to work. Dennis, I can't tell you how much we appreciate the 25 years of service you've given to Tarrant County. Thank you. Next is Steve Doan with Information Technology, 25 years. He started out as a trainer for WordPerfect. How many of y'all remember it? The only ones that are going to remember it are the ones who've been working. And it was mostly people who worked in the legal profession, because Word took it over pretty quick when Microsoft came out. Then he began they found out he could use a screwdriver, and so they just had him doing a bunch of different things. He was desk support for many of the elected officials over the years. I remember, and he reminded me of the fact that one day I almost ran into him and I threw him my Palm Pilot and said, would you please make this thing work? And he found a way to do it. I hardly even remember the Palm Pilots. I remember the Blueberry, or it's the Blackberry. It was Blackberry. That was one of them berries. So how many of y'all still have your Blackberry? Does anybody here still have a Blackberry?
No one should.
No one should.
No one should.
So it don't make no difference whether it's blue or black. It's gone. He was resource manager for the cloud, for infrastructure, and a lot more. He also, I guess, is now the postmaster for emails. Not sure what, I mean, you told me what that meant, but I'm still not sure. He is the postmaster for the emails. Memorable moment. He said, over the years, over the 25 years, I have seen a lot of things come and go. And can you just imagine? Think of what has changed. I mean, we all think about that we've had this forever, but we've only had this for about 10 or 11 years. And, you know, I still remember well, hell, if JD was here, he could show you the old flip phones. And I always liken that to the thing that they'd say, you know, beam me up, Scotty, right after they'd flip the phone open. When I asked him what he liked most, he said, the stability of the county, the fact that it really is, and we hear this all the time, a big family. He said, you know, the one thing that I would say about that I have always felt welcome in Tarrant County. And I think that really goes without saying. We saw that demonstrated in our United Way stuff. We see it demonstrated in a lot of different ways, but I think we just genuinely like people. And y'all just accept that and say, well, you know, what do you mean? Well, it's not that way everywhere. And y'all make it that way. He was in the Marines before coming to the county. He said, you know, when I retired you don't retire from the Marines. I know that. You're always a Marine. But he said, I came someplace where I felt like I could do a second career and retire from and feel great about it. He said the other thing that I will remember always is that Judge Vandergrift married him and Vicky. Vicky, stand up. Vicky works in our tax office, and Judge Vandergrift married them while he was county judge. Steve and Vicky, thank you very much for your years and for your service with Tarrant County. Next is Joanne Martin with Juvenile Services. There's Joanne. She said started out as a field officer in the Southeast Field Unit off Little Road, and then from there went to the Southwest, and now is in court intake office at Kimbo. She said, I love the opportunity and the feeling that I get when I see a kid turn their life around. And she says, you know, they'll come up to me in the grocery stores or in public, and they'll tell me that they appreciate what I've done for them. What she likes most is she was growing with the county. She said, you know, the county is flexible. They're family friendly, and the schedule is flexible. You got to get your work done, but in many of the positions, there's flexibility, and supervisors and folks allow that to happen. She said, I really enjoy my work. She said, I originally had wanted to be a social worker in the school. Again, she wanted to be around her kids as they were growing up. She said, an opportunity presented itself with the county, and she said, I couldn't be happier. She said, I feel like that the Lord opened the door and that this was the place I was supposed to be. Joanne, thank you very much for the 25 years you've given me. Next is Marlea Toussaint. Marlea Stan. Tax office, 25 years. She was out at Northeast when I was out at Northeast, and when we opened South Lake, she moved up to South Lake. When I asked her about memorable moments, she said, you know, it was 9/11. She said the tax office is always busy, always a lot of things going on. She said it just went dead. On 9/11, nobody was there. And she said, I will always remember that. What she likes most is, she said, a lot of times elderly citizens will come into the tax office and they'll be struggling, and she says, I just love helping them. I just love having that opportunity to work with them and just to be able to help them out. And I think, again, that speaks so much about what happens so often in Tarrant County. I guess you've had 4 tax assessor collectors in your time with the county. Her stepdad worked with the sheriff's office for 37 years in Tarrant County, and he had 4 sheriffs. So again, thank you very, very much, Marlene, for your 25 years. Next is David Van Hook, Juvenile Services, 25 years. There's David. Started out in the juvenile department as a probation officer in the intensive supervision unit. Now he's in Northeast, and you know, when they built the new sub courthouse out there, y'all were out, and I think they're working on getting you back in, and you're hoping that by the end of the year we'll have you back into the Northeast sub courthouse. You're gonna make that happen, right? Since you're, we're gonna make that happen. He said what a memorable moment was, again, the people that he's had an opportunity to meet and to work with over the years. He loves the people that he's had a chance to work with, assisting families and caseworkers over the years, and seeing kids succeed. You know, I've often thought that there are departments where your heart just goes out and you want to do everything you can to change the lives, and that's got to be the case in the juvenile probation area. You want so badly to get those kids on the right track, and when you see that happen, it's got to be one of those things. It's got to be very, very rewarding to think you had a part in making that happen. He said, "I'm very grateful to have had an opportunity to be a part of Tarrant County." David, thank you very, very much for your 25 years. Next is Matt Walker, Sheriff's Office, 25 years. There's Matt back there. Started out as a booking clerk in the Corrections Center, was in housing as a jailer, has been to the release desk, then to the TDC desk, is now in the judicial area at Tim Curry. When I asked him about the memorable moments, he said it's some of the folks that I've had a chance to work with over the years. He said the people that he gets to work with in the sheriff's office and the people that he sees coming in and out of the buildings, the camaraderie that occurs within the sheriff's department, were all things that meant a great deal to him. I think he kind of got pointed in that direction. His parents were both reserve officers with county, and in fact, they were members of the sheriff's posse that would ride in the stock show every year. So Matt, again, thank you for your 25 years of service with Tarrant County. Now next is Reggie Butler, who is in the 96th District Court. I talked with Reggie this morning. They're starting a case over there, and so he was not going to be able to make it. So when you see Reggie, thank him for his 30 years of service to Tarrant County. Our last individual today is Jeanette Johnson with HR. 30 years. She started when she was a baby. She said, I started 2 days after my graduation from college, and I started in the workforce development area. She was a monitor at JJPA program. Worked through on workforce development, working with Lockheed and Bell. She transferred, I guess she worked for Workforce Separated, and then she transferred over to HR, and went to the housing for a while, and then came back to HR. When I asked her about memorable moments, she said it was you started the one-stop centers. Started working when those were working. The weekend with Hurricane Katrina. You know, and that was, I remember that weekend very well. It was a Friday, it was Labor Day weekend. Everybody just got in there and got it worked. and FEMA showed up after the holiday. And started
Great job, Brownie.
and wanted to start telling us what to do. She has, one of the comments that she made was the fact that she really had enjoyed working with Tina, and that her mentor had been Gerald.
Yeah.
Gerald, I think was a mentor to many, many folks. She actually started working with the county when she was a freshman in college, and she interned with the county clerk's office. Her daughter was, 5 years ago, her daughter was getting ready to graduate from high school and go to college. Her daughter has now graduated and is employed as, we've all done that dance, not quite as good as you did it. Her son graduated from high school and is now at UNT. She is her mom's caregiver at this point in time. She says, I really enjoy working with the leaders across the county through the Management Institute, because she helped start the Management Institute and has continued that going. So she's had an opportunity to work with many of y'all through that. Jeanette, thank you very, very much for the 30 years of service.
I forgot to tell you that I celebrated my 25th wedding anniversary, and my husband is here, David Johnson.
Thank you for letting her be with us. Like you had anything to say about it. Yeah, I know. She's looking at me like, what are you saying that to him for? He didn't have anything to do with that. I was here before he got around.
There you go.
Thank y'all very much for your service. Okay, 665 years. Right after we get through here, we're going to go outside and we're going to celebrate service anniversaries for the full. Waller, you don't have to take a head start for 504C. They're not going to go away with the desserts back there for you. We're going to have a whole bunch of service and recognize a whole bunch of people out there. But we want to take this time to thank y'all for the service that you give to the citizens of Tarrant County. Refreshments, 504C. Clements, y'all come on up here and let us get a picture. Thank y'all. One thing that I didn't do and I will do and remind y'all of is that, so that Catherine doesn't shoot me. All right. Thursday is our senior synergy event at Will Rogers, Amy Carter. We've got close to 2,800 pre-registered. So we're very excited about the event. Please tell anybody that you know, remind them about the event. It will start at 9 in the morning. Registration will start around 8. So please tell anyone you'd like. It's free. We'd love to see you out there. It's going to be a great event. At this time, I will move that we receive and file the employee recognition.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Court members, we have before you the consent agenda.
Move for approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius?
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have one additional item this morning. We're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve an MOU between Tarrant County doing business as the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office and Dallas County doing business as Southwestern Institute of Forensic Sciences for reciprocal technical peer review of anthropological technology technical cases.
Easy for
You want to repeat that? I missed some of those last words that you were talking about there.
Rewind the tape.
Rewind it.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Move to
Glenn.
receive and file the personnel agenda. Good morning, Ms.
Second.
Glenn.
Good morning.
We have a motion and a second to approve the personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Glenn. Mr. Beecham.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your Honor, other members of the court, we have only 3 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2019-098. It's a bid for the shell space finish out at the Northeast Courthouse Juvenile Services area. Recommendation be to award the low bidder, CMP Commercial Construction, the amount of $254,163. If approved, seeking contract approval and acceptance of the payment and the performance bond.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 2, also a bid award recommendation for bid 2019-121. This is our annual contract for automotive and light truck parts and supplies. Our recommendation be to award on a discount from list price, awarding to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors as shown in your court communique.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Last item, number 3, also a bid award recommendation for bid 2019-136. This is our annual contract for lawn and small engine equipment, parts, repairs, and maintenance. Recommendation be to award on a per hourly labor rate, discount from catalog prices, and parts markup, awarding to the primary, secondary vendors as shown in your court communique.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have 2 interlocal agreements. One is from Commissioner Fickus, dealing with the city of Watauga, and the other is Commissioner Johnson with the city of Saginaw.
Move approval of both.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, approved by the DA.
It has.
Or reviewed by the DA. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any appointments today?
Yes. I will be making one appointment to the Job Evaluation Committee. Jared Jackson to represent Precinct 2. Move for
Second.
approval.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Court members, you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius?
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have 2 items. The first is a presentation by the City of Arlington as it relates to TIF Zone Number 1. Ms. McMillan is here to address the court at this time.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
In 1998, the City of Arlington established Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone Number 1 to redevelop the downtown area of Arlington. That was a 20-year TIF, and at the time, I was there when it started and didn't expect to see the end of it. But actually, I am still here, and it has ended. But before it ended, they realized that there is still a need in downtown Arlington because the first 10 years, there wasn't a lot happening. In the last 10 years, it had a new redevelopment that has spurred approximately $170 million in new value within the TERS. So at the end of last year, the City of Arlington extended the term of the zone, and they are here today now to talk to the county about the new plans for development in the zone, and ask for our participation. So I'm going to call Bruce Payne up to give a presentation on this extension.
Judge Whitley, Commissioner Allen, Commissioner Brooks, nice to see you all today.
You have to push a button.
Right, there's several of them here.
Well, I would push the one that
page up.
down.
How about that guy? Oh, that's the wrong way. All right,
there you
get it
go.
wrong. So very quickly, I just review how the tax increment reinvestment zones work. The dark blue rectangle at the bottom is the ad valorem revenue that all the participating jurisdictions presently receive at the outset of the TERS. The lighter blue is what occurs over time as development happens and the tax values are increasing due to the new development. And at the end of the term, all of the new value is then recaptured by all of the participating jurisdictions. Essentially, what this tool allows to happen is, as opposed to the annual appropriations process by city governments for infrastructure or even quadrennial bond elections, the TERSs allow for just-in-time or real-time participation with new development by providing for infrastructure that's necessary for new development to be successful. And so these tools have been really successful for the City of Arlington and I believe throughout Texas. This is the boundary of the TERS number 1, which is obviously takes in the entire downtown area of Arlington. And this is the number of projects that have occurred since its inception that have been put in place. And most of those, as Lisa mentioned a moment ago, in the last 10 years. The increment has been very substantial. In 1998, when the TERS was formed, the base value of the TERS district was about $73 million, and at the end of 2018, it's at $243 million. And that's mainly because we've seen enormous growth out of the University of Texas at Arlington. They are the second largest campus in the UT system and projected to be the largest student body campus in that system in the next several years. And I do think that in an odd way, the recession probably contributed to this because so many people went back to school. The development community picked up on that, and we saw a wave of large student housing and market rate housing projects to go into downtown. And these were at the tune of $40 and $50 million projects apiece. So it put a lot of value into the TERS, but in the latter part of its life. This is the sources of revenues as it's broken up. This is going forward on the next 20-year period. Should all the participating jurisdictions also sign up for the next term. We estimated an amount of $35 million in expenditures. 58% of that would be the City of Arlington, 19% would be projected to be the county, 14% would be the hospital district, and 9% would be the college district. We anticipate about $40 million, almost $41 million in new revenue between now and 2038, based on the development patterns that we're seeing today. And estimating about 3% annual growth, we'll see about $200 million of new valuation occur. And so this is a chart that shows what the project costs would be. And if you'll look at the third column to the right, at the base is $35 million. That's essentially what we estimate the costs to be to continue progress in the TERS. Downtown Arlington obviously is the oldest part of the city. It has the oldest infrastructure in the city. And every time a new project goes in, all the water, all the sewer, all the drainage, everything associated with supporting a new development has to be redone, and usually it goes a significant distance off-site. And that TERS is an ideal tool in order to accommodate those sorts of needs. These are some of the projects that have been recently built. This is 101 Center. This was a site of the former Central Library for the City of Arlington that we ultimately tore that building down and built a new library behind City Hall. And this particular building is built on city property that was leased to the developer. We used TERS funding to build a public parking garage that is wrapped by this building. They lease a portion of that for their residents, so the rest of it is for library and downtown parking use by the general public. This was a $50 million project. The Arley, which replaced the Catalina Apartments, and some of you may know where that was. They were built in 1967 and fairly rough-looking environment. This was a $40 million project that came in and replaced that. Took a couple of years to get through zoning and all of the infrastructure needs associated with this. It was a great addition on Abram Street. Urban Union is a really interesting story. You all may be familiar with Front Street, which is an east-west route between Division and Abram Street. A lot of used car lots, different car part stuff, miscellaneous industrial uses, et cetera, have been there for a long time, all along the UP Railroad line. Local developer Ryan Dotson has gone in along Front Street, acquired a number of these buildings, and totally rehabilitated these buildings and put them into different use. We have Legal Draft Brewery that's down there. We have bakeries down there now. He's renting it out to a lot of office space and really energizing that corridor. And we intend to use the TERS to continue this because obviously what is most necessary is all the infrastructure to support these buildings. He recently acquired some city property that's to the west of this site where he's going to erect 4 brand new structures on Front Street in Arlington, which I would have bet a lot of money that would have never happened during my tenure there. But because of this has been as successful as it's been. And then the UTA parking garage, this was an earlier project that the TERS participated in, I think to about $6 million, to provide a needed parking that is shared by First Baptist Church, by the city, and by UTA. And also along with this, they created space for future tenants that might have storefronts or restaurants and that sort of thing. And this is the opening of 404 Border. This is the first pure market rate new development in downtown Arlington that anybody can remember for quite some time in modern circumstances. This was a $22 million project, and it was fully leased up at the day they opened it. So we're really excited about the prospects for downtown Arlington. We think we're just really, we found something here. It's unfortunate that the TERS took as long as it did, but there were financial circumstances associated with that, budgetary circumstances. But we think it's worth continuing, and we would be asking for your consideration on participating in the next term.
The buildings that you talked about, the apartment there at Center and that one. You said that the city owned the land. I'm assuming that therefore the land is not on the tax rolls, but the building and
that is
improvements
correct.
are.
That is correct.
And then on the spots that UTA owns, the retail establishments they're on the
they're on state
roll?
property, but they pay sales tax.
But they don't pay any property tax.
They don't pay property tax. But you raise a good point because these buildings, this is a dedicated student housing building, which a lot of times you'd see these happening on campus property. These are all these projects have happened on private property, and so they're all subject to taxation.
Because they were developed and
That's
owned
right.
by a private developer, even though they're student housing from
That's
that
right.
standpoint.
So I use the phrase they're happening on the correct side of the tax line, and it's what gave us the thought that this TERS still has some running room to go because there's a lot of infrastructural needs downtown to allow the development to continue to happen, and the developers haven't shied away from the fact that they have to pay taxes.
I had a time lapse earlier this morning, so I apologize for You were with Southlake
I
for
was.
a number of years, and that's why I've worked with
I knew
you
what you meant, though.
in the very beginning, and so, one of the things that we're looking at, and we're talking to everybody, especially right now, while the legislature is still in session and therefore we can't feel safe, is the whole deal about what they're gonna do with the TIF payments.
Yes,
those
sir.
TIF payments.
We're very aware of it. And we fully understand that.
Yeah.
And we need to see how that all turns out before any actions are
And
taken.
so I don't know, but I'm not foreseeing that we're gonna pull any triggers on that until after the legislature is adjourned and gone home for good.
Right.
I just wished it was
I understand.
2 days every 140 years instead of 140 days every 2 years.
I got it.
Any other questions or?
Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
So just a summary, to date, the county and the hospital district, when this was originally formed, were participating at 100% of their M&O rate. Because the debt is low with both the county and the hospital district, that was pretty much 100% almost, and it was about 90% of our current rate. To date, we have paid in approximately $2.5 million over the 20-year period. That's all. Under this plan, they ask that the county participate going forward at 70% of our M&O rate and the hospital district at 50% of their M&O rate. Under our current tax structure with the M&O and rate, it would be about 64%. So it would be down, you know, if you look at it compared to our current rate like we do with all the other tax increment districts. So over the plan year, for the next 20 years, it would be another $7.9 million for the county over a 20-year period. So that would be total about $10.4 million. And under the plan, the hospital district has put in just under $2 million so far. It would be another 5.9. So total over the 40 years, 7.9. So it's not large compared to some of the districts that we have contributed to in the past. I just wanted you to kind of get a feel for what.
So how much of the 35 would we be contributing? The 35 is what the
7.9 of the 35 going forward. 7.9 for the county and 5.9 for the hospital district.
Okay. And again, one of the things that we've looked at and talked about very seriously is the whole hospital district because of the bond issue.
Yeah, we are not, staff is not making a recommendation.
I know.
This is what is figured right now under the project and financing plan. So again, as you said, we will have to look at what happens after the legislative session, analyze this, and the City of Arlington and all of the other TIF districts who are coming before you at this time know that everything is going to be contingent on what we look at later and how that's going to impact our tax rate in our tax structure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Members of the court, we can go to item B. This is the legislative update. Mr. Schaffner has provided a memo to you detailing some of the activities of last week. We received an email this morning also from Mr. Schaffner. Just want to point out a couple of things. SB 29 is moving through the process. The bill itself would restrict the use of public funds to fund nonprofit organizations or spend public money to directly or indirectly influence or attempt to influence the outcome of any legislation pending before the legislature. That would basically mean that any associations that engage outside lobbyists would no longer be able to do that. There is a carve out though for elected officials and employees of the county to still go to Austin and provide education to the legislature. Senate Bill 702, this one was heard in the House State Affairs Wednesday, or will be heard tomorrow. This is the one that requires specific court action on any acknowledgement in any expenditures that the county makes as it relates to lobbying. HB 3, the Senate passed that on Monday, and this is the school finance bill. And then finally, today is the deadline for a bill to be passed out of House calendar. So House bills have to come out of calendar today. House bills must be passed out of the House in total by this Thursday. So we're drawing to the end of the legislative session. And the number of bills that will be actively going through the legislature will decrease somewhat. Our goal is to make sure that we recognize Christmas trees where people try to hang pieces of legislation on other existing pieces of legislation and work to position ourselves one way or the other on those particular bills. I'll be more than happy to try to answer any questions that you may have on those items or the items that Mr. Schaffner has included in his memo.
I guess a couple of points that I'll make. I think on Senate Bill 29, I believe it also prohibits employees of the county from going down and doing that. Elected officials can, but they can be invited to testify. But I don't think they can go down and testify without an invitation by a member.
We'll need to check on that. His memo says that that there are carve-outs for elected officials and employees of the county to try to influence legislation. So,
and that was one of the conversations we had yesterday.
Okay.
So I'm just saying to folks, they're basically, because of the fact that we have voiced opposition to some of their bills this time, they're going to try to silence county and cities and other governmental entities. In effect, if Senate Bill 29 were to pass, any associations that y'all are members of, elected officials, will cease to exist because we'll be prohibited from paying any dues or using any county monies. So TAC, CUC, Clerk Association, DA, sheriffs, tax assessors, JPs, all those go away. That means that when it comes to reading the 7,000 bills that are passed, we'll individually have to do that because there won't be an association or associations to do that and to try to determine what the impact is. Now, yeah, as elected officials, we can go down there. So, maybe one of us, maybe one of y'all can read the 7,000 bills to determine which ones are going to affect us. They don't even read the 7,000 bills themselves. They depend upon other folks to do that. But in effect, what they're trying to do is to punish us for speaking out or being vocal about some of the legislation which is specifically going to impact counties and cities, and it's going to impact those that are not growing. We will enjoy the fact that we are continuing to have a little bit of growth, and for as long as we do that, that will help us a little bit. But other than that, that's 3.5% that it looks like we're going to be limited to, and that's not out of conference yet, so we don't know. Schools are at 2%. And in effect, a 3.5%, when you look at, we have historically given 3% for an increase. And if you add fringe benefits to that, that gets us at about 3.75. So that's over 3%, 3.5%, excuse me. That doesn't take into account the increased cost in health benefits. That doesn't take into account any new positions, of which the initial budget requests this year are for 148 new positions. Folks, if you've been quiet and haven't talked to your representative or to your senator or to anybody else you know down there, you better give them a call. Because if this passes, again, we will not be punished as badly because of the fact that we've continued to continue to be fortunate enough to grow a little bit. But we will, in those counties that are not growing, it's going to be very harmful to them. And as I have said to folks in some of the opportunities I've had to get out in front of people, we hear all the time how overtaxed we are. We are 37th. When you compare us to the 50 states, all 50 states or the other 49, when you look at the taxes that we pay, i.e. the cost of all the services we receive from the schools, from the cities, from the counties, from the state, when you take all of those taxes and you add them together and you compare that to as a percentage of personal income, we are 37th. So in my opinion, that means that as elected officials, we're doing a pretty good job of providing what I think are very good services. They could be improved in certain areas, but very good services when you look at the cost of those services and where we stand on a percentage basis. So you can sit quiet and do nothing and say nothing, and then when it comes to your budget and we say to you, you got 3.5%, or it'll be less than that because we're going to deduct out the cost of health care and all that from you. You figure out how many positions you think you'll be able to add in the future. So I would encourage you to not wait till tomorrow or the next week to do this, but I would suggest that you call them today and that you, one, tell them you do not support Senate Bill 29 and that you really are concerned about what they're doing to us in the form of revenue caps. The state House has proposed over a 6% increase in their budget, and that doesn't have to be voted on by the folks, by the people. So they're a little misguided, I would say, at this point in time. So
Hypocritical.
that'd be another good word. So with that, we have a couple of audience participations. We have, I believe, Diane Wood would like to speak today, and I would invite her to come forward at this time. We also have Charles Himes. I know, not speaking, but are here to be against 287G. Juanita Guzman and one other one. Elva Moser? Not speaking. Ms. Wood, you would like to come forward, please. And if you would, when you come forward, if you would give your name and your repeat your address, we would appreciate it.
My name is Diane Wood. I live at 813 Crawford Street in Fort Worth. I've lived in Fort Worth for 48 years now. I'm a retired registered nurse. 40 of those years, of those 48 years, I spent practicing nursing. I did community health in Tarrant County, and I was all over the whole area. And I was in contact with a lot of immigrants in that service. Developed some very rich relationships, became aware of how much immigrants from all areas participate in our society and add to the richness of our culture. So the situation with immigrants and welcoming them has always been a real issue for me. So I stand in representation of the ICE out of Tarrant County campaign. We aim to develop a consensus that 287G is not good for Tarrant County, that it actually harms our citizens and our communities and our families. I should say that when I was a nurse and I was going into many homes where I interacted with immigrants, I never once in those 40 years, I never once felt afraid, not once. And I'm also aware that the immigrant, the situation with crime, there's a very small percentage of crime that are committed by immigrants, extremely small. That's a fact that's often overlooked in our government, in our media. Making federal immigration agents a part of local law enforcement in our already crowded jails and arresting people on state and local charges, putting them in jails when they've committed most of them committed very violent, very non-violent offenses. I believe is actually a real lack of integrity on our part. It leads to racial profiling. That's been proven. It leads to that. It's a violation of civil rights. In an area, in a time in our society when racism is one of the most prominent problems all over the country, we must pay attention to that and do everything we can, in my opinion, to tear down the walls related to racism. And this is one of them. So I don't feel safer at all with all those immigrants that are put in jails for very, very minor offenses. I don't feel safer. So the tax dollars that we spend, all of us together, getting input and leadership from you, and you do a great job. Input from us as taxpayers, we have to work together, and I think you all obviously do a great job of that. So the money that's being spent on this program, which I understand the government has not reimbursed us for, I can't even imagine that we would continue it. So I'm asking you to please not renew the contract when it comes up on June the 30th. A whole lot of counties and cities throughout the country have actually discontinued that program because of some of these reasons. We have so many situations in Fort Worth that we need that money for. So many social service problems that exist still. So thank you for your time, and please do not renew that on June the 30th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura, thank you very much for being here today. Or Ms. Wood, I'm sorry. Mr. Means, is there anything else?
That's all we have at this time, Your Honor.
And we're going to recess our open meeting to proceed to close, discuss items exempted under section 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Having returned from closed session, there being no business to conduct at this time, we are adjourned.